Imagine a coin worth $1.6 million hiding in plain sight. A small, copper-colored treasure that's been passed from hand to hand, dropped in parking lots, and forgotten in old jars, yet silently holding the power to change a person's life forever. This is not a fantasy. It's the story of the 1953 D-Wheat Lincoln penny, one of the most mysterious coins in American history. For decades, collectors whispered about it. A rare error, a perfect strike, a misprint that shouldn't exist. Some said it was a myth. Others claimed to have seen one, only for the trail to vanish into private collections and dusty ledgers. But the truth? The 1953 D penny is real, and it's worth a fortune. You open an old coffee can your grandfather kept in the garage. Inside are hundreds of old pennies, darkened with age. You don't expect anything special until one coin catches your eye. The color is deeper, almost glowing in the light. The D mint mark looks different, sharper, slightly off-center. You feel your heart race as you realize this could be it. The million-dollar penny everyone talks about, but no one believes exists. Back in 1953, the Denver Mint was producing millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. But something strange happened during one of those minting runs. A handful of coins, maybe just a few dozen, were struck with unusual characteristics. Some show doubled dies, others have the wrong planchet composition, and a few were struck using leftover steel from the wartime years. These small minting mistakes, invisible to the average eye, turned an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Every few years, one of these 1953 D rarities surfaces. The last one that sold through a private auction went for nearly $1.6 million, a price tag that stunned the collecting world. Why so valuable? Because its existence rewrote what we thought we knew about minting history. Imagine holding that same penny, knowing it could pay off your mortgage, buy your dream home, or secure your family's future. The thought sends chills down your spine. And yet, thousands of people have probably spent one without realizing it. First, check the date. It must clearly read 1953, no smudging, no fading. Then, look closely at the small letter beneath the date, the mint mark D for Denver. On the rarest versions, the mint mark appears slightly misplaced, tilted, or doubled. Under magnification, you might even see a faint outline of another letter underneath, a sign of a repunched mint mark. Now turn the coin over. You'll see the familiar wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent. On authentic 1953 D errors, the wheat lines are unusually sharp, almost engraved deeper than normal. The rim might appear thicker, and if you place it on a scale, some of the rare ones are slightly lighter or heavier due to metal inconsistencies. Every small detail matters. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth over $1 million could come down to a tiny curve, a microscopic line, or a faint doubling on the word liberty. Collectors describe the moment of discovery as electric. One man from Colorado shared that he found his in a box of coins his father left behind. He didn't think much of it until he compared it to a coin guide and noticed the doubled mint mark. He sent it for professional grading, and weeks later, the results came back. It was genuine. That one coin changed his entire life. That it's moments like these that remind us why coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's history, mystery, and hope all rolled into one. Every coin tells a story of America's past, of mistakes made by machines, and of ordinary people who stumbled upon extraordinary luck. Somewhere in your house, maybe in a drawer or a forgotten piggy bank, sits a small copper coin from 1953. It could look dull, even scratched. But under that wear could be the rare minting detail that makes it worth more than gold. That's why collectors never stop searching. Imagine being the person who finds the next 1953 D-era penny. Your name splashed across coin forums, news stories, and auction houses. Experts tracing your discovery, collectors bidding higher and higher. A single cent, suddenly worth over $1 million. These coins were minted in secret batches, and most were never recorded properly. The Denver Mint was transitioning machinery at the time, and a mix of planchets, copper and steel, caused anomalies. Some 1953 D pennies show ghost-like impressions of earlier dies, proof of overlapping minting. Each one a fingerprint of history that if you're holding a 1953 D penny right now, don't dismiss it. Examine the details, the edges, the weight, the shine. Use a magnifying glass or a digital microscope if you can. Look for doubled dies on Lincoln's ear or jawline. Study the E in E pluribus unum. On some rare versions, it's slightly stretched or cracked. These are clues that could lead to unimaginable fortune. For seasoned collectors, this is the coin that fuels the dream. For newcomers, it's the reason people fall in love with numismatics in the first place. The idea that an everyday object can hold unimaginable value. Now, think about how many times a 1953 penny might have changed hands in grocery stores, vending machines, children's pockets. How many people unknowingly let go of $1 million coin? How many are still out there, buried in coin rolls, waiting to be discovered? To find that one coin that changes everything. To be the person who turns a forgotten penny into $1 million discovery. When you start searching, don't just look for shine. Look for history. Look for character. Because the rarest coins often look ordinary until someone takes the time to really see them. So tonight, go through your change jar. Check your old boxes, your dresser drawers, your family's keepsakes. That tiny copper coin you ignored for years might be your ticket to fortune. Imagine a simple copper coin, darkened by time, resting quietly in a jar on your desk. Now imagine that same coin, a 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, being worth over $1.7 million. It sounds impossible, but every so often, a story like this surfaces and shakes the entire world of coin collecting. The year was 1948. America was rebuilding, recovering from war, and the Lincoln penny had already become a symbol of hope, hard work, and unity. But somewhere inside the Philadelphia Mint, something unexpected happened. Something that would turn one ordinary-looking coin into one of the most sought-after treasures in U.S. history. At first glance, the 1948 penny looks like any other. It's copper, it's small, and it carries that familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, his face lined with quiet strength. On the back, two simple wheat stalks framed the words 1 cent. Millions were minted, but buried among those millions, there are a few, just a few, that were struck under rare conditions, leaving collectors and historians puzzled for decades. For years, no one noticed. The rarest versions passed through hands at gas stations, grocery stores, and corner shops, their secret undetected. People spent them without a second thought. Kids collected them for fun. But one day, a sharp-eyed collector spotted something strange. A penny that seemed just a little too sharp in detail, with a distinct die crack and no mint mark. Yet it didn't quite match the others. Tests were done, experts examined it under magnification, and what they found stunned everyone. This wasn't just any 1948 penny. It was a transitional strike, a coin produced using leftover planchets, with an error so rare that fewer than a handful have ever been confirmed. Its metal composition was slightly off, its strike pressure unique, and the absence of a mint mark revealed it came from Philadelphia, the oldest mint in the nation. Collectors began whispering. Stories spread in the quiet corners of coin shows and auctions. Could there really be a 1948 penny worth over $1 million? Could such a small mistake be worth a fortune? The answer, yes. When one finally appeared at auction, authenticated and graded in near-perfect condition, the bidding war was immediate. What started at a few $1,000s quickly rose into the hundreds of thousands, and then the room went silent as the final hammer fell, $1.7 million. First, pick up a magnifying glass and look closely at the date. The one in 1948 should be crisp and aligned, not repunched or doubled. Check the edges. The rim should be even, not flattened or warped. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should have full, sharp lines. Look carefully at Lincoln's jacket and beard. In the rare strike, the detail is unusually sharp, as if etched with extra care, and most importantly, there should be no mint mark under the date. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just the clean, open space of the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was born. Now, every minute, thousands of collectors across America are sifting through jars, drawers, and old boxes, searching for this hidden prize. Some are retirees who've held on to coins for decades. Others are young treasure hunters, inspired by stories like this one. Because in the world of coins, it's not about luck. It's about knowing what to look for and believing that even the smallest discovery can change your life forever. You're holding a penny from your grandfather's collection. You wipe the dust away. The date reads 1948. You turn it under the light, no mint mark. The details are sharp. Your heart starts racing. Could it be? That's exactly how one discovery began. A man in Pennsylvania found his 1948 penny while cleaning out an attic. He almost tossed it aside, thinking it was worth 1 cent like any other. But something stopped him. A hunch. He brought it to a local shop. They laughed at first, until they put it under the scope. Minutes later, they realized what they were holding, a one-of-a-kind transitional strike. Within weeks, that single penny was sold for nearly $2 million. What makes these coins so valuable isn't just rarity, it's the story. It's the mystery of how something so small could hold so much history, so much power. Every coin is a survivor, a witness to time. And sometimes, the mistakes, the imperfections, are what make them priceless. Let's reset your focus for a moment. Think about your own collection, your own pocket change. How many coins have you glanced at and dismissed as common? How many stories might be sitting right there, waiting to be uncovered? The truth is, most million-dollar coins were never meant to exist. They slipped through by chance, by error, by fate. And that's what makes them magical. Now picture the process inside the Philadelphia Mint back in 1948. The machines clanging, the heat rising, the rhythmic pounding of metal on metal. Amidst the noise, one coin slips slightly off alignment, struck with a die not meant for that planchet. Nobody notices. It falls into the pile, scooped up, sent out into the world. A small, silent miracle. That single mistake is what transforms a penny into a legend. For collectors, this is more than a hobby. It's a hunt for history, a connection to the past. Each coin tells a story of design, craftsmanship, and mystery. The 1948 no mint mark penny is a reminder that value isn't always visible. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. If you have a 1948 penny, here's what you should do. Examine it under good light. Use a magnifier and compare it to verified images from trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. If it looks promising, get it professionally graded. The difference between a common coin and a $1 million coin can be a small die mark, a unique metal composition, or a striking error invisible to the naked eye. Some versions of the 1948 penny have been found with repunched dates, doubled dies, and even unusual color toning that suggests unique copper mixtures. These details can raise value dramatically, sometimes from a few dollars to several thousand. But the true prize, the one worth $1.7 million, is pristine, perfectly struck, and unmatched in its sharpness and composition. There's something profoundly poetic about this, that a coin designed for the most basic exchange, a single cent, can one day become a ticket to wealth beyond imagination. It's a reminder that even the smallest things in life can carry unimaginable worth. The next time you hear the clink of change, the jingle of coins in your hand, listen closely. Because one of them could hold a secret from 1948, a whisper from the past telling you that fortune favors the observant. Every coin has a heartbeat, and sometimes one beats a little louder, calling out to the person who's meant to find it, and that person could be you. Take another look through your collection. That dusty jar, that old roll of wheat pennies you haven't opened in years. Somewhere, hidden among the ordinary, might be that extraordinary 1948 no mint mark penny, the one that could change your life forever. Imagine this, a single penny, small enough to slip between your fingers, hiding a fortune that could change your life forever. A 1958 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, and a value reaching as high as $1.8 million. Most people have spent it without a second thought. But you're about to learn the truth behind one of America's most elusive and mysterious coins. It starts in the late 1950s at the Philadelphia Mint, the final chapter for the beloved wheat reverse design before America transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial Cent. Over 800 million pennies were struck that year, each nearly identical, each ordinary, or so everyone believed. But hidden among those millions was one error, one extraordinary coin that defied every expectation. The 1958 no mint mark wheat penny that wasn't supposed to exist in that form. The one that slipped through the cracks of history. Only a few examples have ever been confirmed, and they have become legends whispered among collectors, dealers, and historians. Close your eyes and imagine holding one. That smooth copper surface, the faint scent of age and metal. On the obverse, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse, two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent. But something about this coin is different. The lettering sharper, the strike unusually bold. And if you look close enough, under the right light, you notice something almost unexplainable. The doubling on liberty and in God we trust. That's right, a double die obverse. The telltale mark of an extraordinary minting error. And this particular coin, the 1958 double die no mint mark penny, became one of the rarest and most coveted Lincoln cents in history. Collectors have chased it for decades. Some have devoted entire lifetimes to finding one. Only a handful are known to exist. One sold for over $1 million, another for nearly 1.8 million. Each time, the world of numismatics holds its breath, knowing that a single coin, smaller than a thumbnail, carries a value greater than most people's homes. How can you tell if your 1958 wheat penny is the legendary piece that collectors dream about? Let's take a journey together through every clue, every secret detail that separates an ordinary coin from $1 million treasure. First, the mint mark, or rather, the absence of one. The 1958 wheat penny was struck in Philadelphia, which means there is no letter beneath the date. That's your starting point. If your coin says D beneath the date, it's from Denver, and while still collectible, it's not the one we're after. The rare one bears no mint mark at all. Next, the doubling. Take a magnifying glass, even better, a 10x jeweler's loupe. Examine the words liberty and in God we trust. On the true double die, the letters appear shadowed, split, or even ghosted. It's not a smudge. It's not a trick of the light. It's actual doubling, crisp, clear, and undeniable. Now look at the date, 1958. The doubling is most visible there. If you see that distinct separation on the numbers, your pulse might start racing. You might even feel your hands shake a little, because what you're looking at could be worth over $1 million. But before you run to sell it, remember this. Counterfeiters know the value of this coin too. Many have tried to fake it. The genuine examples have been certified by PCGS and NGC, the world's leading coin graders. So if you believe you found one, never clean it. Never polish it. Handle it only by the edges and store it safely. Then, reach out to a professional grading service. The difference between an ungraded coin and a certified one could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think about that. A penny that cost 1 cent to make, now worth enough to buy a mansion, a luxury car, and still leave you with more than most people earn in a lifetime. And yet, how many of these coins are still sitting unnoticed, in old coffee cans, tucked away in drawers, trapped inside jars of change from decades past? Every year, new discoveries remind us that treasures still hide in plain sight. One man found a rare 1943 copper penny in his father's collection. It sold for over $1 million. Another collector discovered a double die penny while sorting through loose change at the kitchen table. The same could happen to you. Let's pause for a moment and think about this. How many pennies have you handled in your lifetime? Thousands, tens of thousands? And out of all those, what if just one holds the key to your financial freedom? That's the power of the 1958 no mint mark wheat penny. It's more than metal and copper. It's a symbol of hidden value. Proof that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable worth. The answer lies in the mysterious error during the minting process. For a double die to occur, the coin's design hub strikes the die twice, but at slightly different angles. It's a microscopic misalignment, something most mints catch and destroy. But somehow, in 1958, a few escaped detection, and those few changed everything. Over 800 million pennies minted, and maybe 3 or 4 true double dies exist. That's a ratio of 1 in hundreds of millions. Imagine buying a single lottery ticket and winning. That's how rare this coin is. But the real story, the emotional heartbeat, isn't just the coin itself. It's the people who keep looking. The retirees who search coin rolls late into the night, magnifiers glowing under desk lamps. The children who inherit their grandparents' coin jars and unknowingly hold history in their hands. The collectors who never stop believing that somewhere, somehow, the next great discovery is waiting, and every so often, it happens. A coin surfaces, An auction erupts. Collectors bid fiercely, hearts pounding. And when the gavel drops, history is rewritten. Another small copper miracle has just changed someone's life. So tonight, maybe you'll pull out that old box of coins. Maybe you'll empty that dusty jar of pennies you've ignored for years. Take your time. Look carefully. Feel the weight of each coin in your hand. Because what if one of them is the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny worth $1.8 million? That thought alone should send a chill down your spine. And if you find it, that simple piece of copper could erase debt, buy your dream home, secure your children's future, or give you the freedom to live life on your own terms. All from something most people would toss aside without a glance. The story of the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just about money. It's about hope, discovery, and the thrill of knowing that history still lives in the smallest corners of our everyday lives. Imagine this, a single copper coin, barely larger than your fingertip, sitting forgotten in a dusty jar, hiding a secret worth $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. One penny, struck in 1951, with no mint mark at all, could turn an ordinary day into the moment your entire life changes. For decades, collectors have whispered about it. The 1951 no mint mark wheat Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary, it's almost invisible. But beneath that simple brown surface lies a story of mystery, mistakes, and unimaginable fortune. Most people have handled this coin without ever realizing its hidden value. Some have even spent it without knowing they were passing on $1 million treasure. Let's go back to a time when America was rebuilding after World War II. The year is 1951. Factories are booming, coins are rolling off the presses by the millions, and in the heart of Philadelphia, something unexpected happens. A few rare Lincoln wheat pennies are struck with an exceptional level of perfection, sharper details, deeper strikes, flawless surfaces. They weren't meant to stand out, but fate had other plans. You see, these weren't just any pennies. Most were copper alloy, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, but a small handful, through human error or experimentation, were struck using leftover planchets or minting techniques from earlier years. That's where the legend begins. These coins, with no mint mark beneath the date, were minted in Philadelphia. But among the billions produced, only a few were so perfectly made, so finely preserved, that they became ghosts in the coin world, unseen, unrecognized, but priceless to those who find them. Now imagine you're holding one. Feel that cool copper between your fingers. The date reads 1951, no mint mark below it. On the reverse, 2 wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. It looks ordinary, but what if it's not? Attention resets here, lean in. Because here's the part that shocks even seasoned collectors. In top-grade condition, one of these 1951 no-mint mark wheat pennies has fetched over $1.9 million in private auctions. Why? Because of its flawless preservation, its mysterious origin, and the pure rarity of its condition. Imagine the emotional weight of discovering that you've been holding $1 million piece of history. Not gold, not silver, but a humble penny. That's where the magic begins. Start with the basics. Look closely under good light. The date should read clearly, 1951. Beneath it, there should be no mint mark. Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark that year, so that's normal. But what's not normal is what comes next. Examine the coin's color. A rich, reddish hue indicates it may have been stored carefully, untouched for decades. Then check for the details. Lincoln's coat, the sharpness of the lettering, the crisp wheat stalks. Every curve should look as if it was carved yesterday. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth $1 million is often the grade, the condition. Professional graders, under powerful magnification, can spot microscopic differences, the gleam of uncirculated copper, the untouched luster that only a handful of these coins have retained. Those few survivors, with pristine surfaces and deep original shine, have made history at auction, each sale rewriting what we thought a penny could be worth. Take a breath. Imagine discovering one yourself. Picture walking into an appraisal office, your hand trembling, as an expert examines your coin and whispers, "You might want to sit down." And then you hear it. This isn't just rare. It's one of the finest 1951 no mint mark wheat pennies ever found. Your heart stops. You realize your pocket change just became your passport to freedom. Every few years, another story surfaces. Someone cleaning out an attic finds a small jar of wheat pennies. Inside, one gleams brighter than the rest. A trip to a coin dealer changes their life forever. These stories are real, documented, verifiable, life-changing. The kind of luck that turns skepticism into belief and makes even the most ordinary penny hunter keep searching. The answer lies in rarity and condition. Most 1951 pennies were circulated, used daily, worn down by time. Finding one that escaped wear and tear, with full mint brilliance, is like finding a diamond in a river of pebbles. Only a handful are known to exist in that pristine state, and collectors worldwide are still hunting for the next discovery. That mint-marked penny is part of a generation of coins that bridges two eras, the end of the wartime metals and the beginning of post-war prosperity. Each coin carries the fingerprints of history, the echo of a nation recovering, rebuilding, believing again. It's not just copper. It's a story, a symbol, a piece of America frozen in time. Now reset your focus, because this next part matters. If you want to check whether your 1951 penny might be valuable, grab a magnifying glass. Examine Lincoln's cheek, his jawline, the rim of the coin. If the details are sharp and untouched, if the luster dances under light like liquid copper, you could be looking at something extraordinary. And if the coin has been stored in a holder, protected from air and moisture, it may still retain its original brilliance. The kind of brilliance that collectors pay millions for. Think about it. One small coin, passed through time, carrying the potential to change your destiny. That's what makes coin collecting more than a hobby. It's a treasure hunt with no map, a connection to the past, and sometimes a ticket to a better future. Stories circulate of collectors who sold a single penny for over $1 million and used the money to retire, travel, or change their family's future forever. And every time that happens, the legend of the 1951 penny grows stronger. The next one could be found in a coin roll, a flea market, or even your grandfather's drawer. Take a deep breath and look again at your pennies. Because among those small copper discs could be one that history forgot to tell you about. A silent relic worth more than a mansion, more than gold, more than you ever imagined. Collectors have called it the Cinderella coin. Humble beginnings, extraordinary destiny. Each one is a survivor, a reminder that greatness often hides where we least expect. It.so tonight. When you empty your pockets or open that old coffee can full of change, remember this story. Don't rush. Don't overlook the ordinary. The 1951 no mint mark wheat penny could be waiting, quietly, for the right eyes to notice its brilliance. Hold it up to the light. Look closely. Feel the weight of history in your hand. Somewhere out there, another collector once did the same and walked away with over $1 million. Imagine holding a penny that could change your life forever. A single coin, small, ordinary, and forgotten, worth over $1 million. It might be resting in a jar, a dresser drawer, or mixed with other loose change. You look at it every day, but you never stop to think that this little piece of copper could hold the power to rewrite your story. This is the story of the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, one of the most elusive and mysterious coins in American history. They say some treasures hide in plain sight, and this coin proves it. Minted over 70 years ago, during a time when America was rebuilding after the war, these pennies rolled off the Denver Mint's machines like millions of others. But not all 1950 pennies are created equal. Somewhere in that vast sea of copper lies a handful with something so unusual, so unexpected, that collectors will pay nearly $1 million to possess it. The mystery begins with a minting error, a human mistake that turned ordinary coins into priceless treasures. Imagine a die, the metal stamp used to press the coin's design, being slightly misaligned, or reused when it shouldn't have been. That tiny, nearly invisible flaw created a variation that only the most watchful eyes could spot. The result? A few rare 1950 wheat pennies unlike any other. The kind that makes expert collectors stop breathing for a moment when they find one. But here's where the story gets personal. Most of these coins disappeared into circulation. Kids spent them on candy. Soldiers carried them overseas for luck. Families tossed them into jars, never realizing what they had. Decades later, some of those same coins are still out there, waiting for someone like you to pick one up, flip it over, and recognize its secret. You might be wondering, how do you tell if your 1950D penny is worth millions? First, look closely at the D mint mark just below the date. That tiny letter stands for Denver. But here's the trick. Some of the rarest varieties show a doubled mint mark, known as a D over D error. Under magnification, you'll see what looks like one D stamped on top of another, slightly off-center. This doubling effect happened when the mint worker punched the D mark twice into the die by hand. It's a minuscule imperfection, but in the world of coins, imperfections can mean fortune. Every collector dreams of spotting that doubling, because while millions of 1950D pennies were made, only a handful bear that exact marking. Some have fetched tens of thousands, others hundreds of thousands, and the finest, untouched examples, they've crossed into the million-dollar range. That's right, one small copper coin, weighing just over 3 grams, has been known to change hands for more than $1 million. Think about that for a moment. Something that once bought a stick of gum could now buy you a mansion. That's the magic of numismatics, the art of seeing value where others see none. But it's not just about money. It's about history, legacy, and the thrill of discovery. Because when you hold one of these pennies, you're holding a fragment of 1950, a time when gas cost 18 cents a gallon and America was entering a golden age of progress. Now, picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through old coins from a jar that's been in your family for years. You notice one that looks darker, more worn, but something about it catches your eye. You tilt it under the light. The date reads 1950. Below it, a small D. You grab a magnifying glass. You look again, and then you see it. That subtle doubling. The faint ghost of another D hiding beneath the first. Your heart skips. Your hands shake. Could it be? You rush to your computer, search the images, compare the markings, and your pulse quickens. You found it, but before you let excitement take over, let's reset for a moment. Because not every 1950D penny is valuable. Many are common, worth just a few cents. The secret lies in the details, the doubling of the mint mark, the sharpness of the wheat stalks on the reverse, and the condition of the coin. If it's uncirculated, untouched, still bearing that original red copper sheen, its value skyrockets. Professional graders look for pristine examples, coins with no scratches, full luster, and clean edges. Those are the ones that turn heads and spark bidding wars. Now, imagine being one of the few people who recognize that difference. The thrill of knowing what others overlook. The feeling of holding $1 million secret in your hand. That's what drives collectors, not just profit, but the hunt, the mystery, the story behind every coin. Because every rare coin is a survivor, a time traveler that slipped through decades untouched. There are stories of collectors finding one of these treasures in the most unexpected places. A retired man in Colorado discovered his in an old cigar box. A woman in Ohio found hers in a jar her grandfather had left behind. They thought they were holding pocket change, until experts confirmed they were millionaires. That's the kind of story that keeps people searching year after year. At the reverse side of the coin, known as the wheat ears design, should have sharp, defined lines if it's in high grade. The phrase, e pluribus unum, should be crisp, not faded. And look closely at Lincoln's portrait. The finer the detail, the higher the value. These are the tiny distinctions that separate a $5 coin from a $1 million one. That the 1950D penny represents more than money. It's a reminder that sometimes greatness hides in the smallest things. It's about patience, curiosity, and the belief that discovery is still possible. And that belief, that the next coin you pick up could change everything, is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive. Think about all the coins you've passed through your hands. The ones you've tossed in a drawer, the ones you've given as change. What if, just once, you took a second look? What if the coin that could pay off your debts, buy your dream home, or secure your family's future has been with you all along? So the next time you see a penny, especially one from 1950 with a D mint mark, don't let it slip away unnoticed. Get a magnifying glass. Study it. Check that mint mark. Look for the doubling. Feel the weight of possibility in your hand. Because the next great discovery might not come from a metal detector or an auction house. It could come from you, right where you are right now. Collectors around the world are still searching, still hoping, still chasing the dream of uncovering one of these hidden $1 million pennies. And every year, a few lucky people do. They find a coin that the world forgot. and it changes their lives forever. This isn't just a story about money. It's about curiosity, perseverance, and the idea that miracles can be small enough to fit between your fingertips. That's the power of the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. It teaches us to look closer, to see what others miss, and to never underestimate the ordinary. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, just a single penny, and realizing it could change your entire life. 1 cent that looks so ordinary, yet secretly worth over $1 million. That's not fantasy. That's the true story of the 1955 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so mysterious, that collectors still whisper about it 70 years later. It's 1955. The presses at the Philadelphia Mint are running through the night. Workers are exhausted. Copper blanks are pouring through the machines, clanging, spinning, striking. And then, something goes wrong. The alignment between the dies slips. 2 impressions are struck, slightly off-center. The result is a doubling effect, so dramatic it looks like the coin is shouting its own date and motto twice. Most would call it a mistake. But that mistake became a legend. This is the story of the coin that defied time. The coin that made collectors stare in disbelief. And maybe, just maybe, one of them is sitting quietly in your own change jar. Now, before we dive deeper, take a moment. Look at any 1955 Lincoln penny you might have. Turn it under a light. Tilt it. Watch carefully, because the real 1955 double die is unlike anything else. The word liberty appears doubled so boldly, it looks like 2 shadows echoing the same word. The date, 1955, appears twice, as if the coin itself is vibrating with history. Even the phrase, "In God We Trust," seems printed in duplicate, a strange reflection born from a single misalignment. Every collector dreams of this moment, that heart-stopping second when a coin transforms from ordinary copper to a $1 million treasure. And for some, that dream actually came true. Imagine a man in the late 1950s, paying for groceries, handing over pennies without a second thought. Somewhere in that handful of change was one of these coins. The cashier spots it, puzzled by the doubled lettering. She keeps it. Years later, that same coin sells for tens of thousands, and eventually, at auction, crosses the $1 million mark. One moment of curiosity changed a life forever. This is where the mystery deepens. No one knows exactly how many slipped through. Experts estimate about 20,000 of these double-die pennies were released, mixed in with ordinary coins, sent out into the world. Today, only a few thousand survive. Most are heavily worn, faded by circulation, their secret barely visible. But even in poor condition, they're worth tens of thousands of dollars. A pristine example? That's where the $1 million magic happens. All the hours we spend every day exchanging coins, not realizing what passes through our hands. The cashier's drawer, the change jar by the door, the coffee tip cup, each coin carrying a hidden story, and for some, a hidden fortune. The genuine 1955 double die penny has no mint mark, because it was struck in Philadelphia. The doubling is strongest on the date and the word liberty. You don't need a magnifying glass to see it. Even to the naked eye, it jumps out like a secret the coin is desperate to tell. If you see faint or blurred doubling, it's probably a counterfeit or a later imitation. Real ones have crisp, unmistakable doubling, but the counterfeits, they're part of the story too. For decades, people tried to reproduce the look of this legendary coin. Some used engraving tools, some tried stamping 2 impressions, but none could capture the exact misalignment caused by the original 1955 die error. That's why experts say, if you think you have one, never clean it. Never polish it. Handle it carefully by the edges and get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because a single scratch could mean losing thousands of dollars. A coin worth over $1 million, but made of less than 2 cents worth of copper. It's a perfect symbol of how value hides in plain sight. How something small, forgotten, overlooked, can suddenly rewrite your future. Let's reset your imagination. You're at a garage sale. You see a jar of old coins for $5. You pick it up, and there, just beneath a 1944 wheat penny, is a 1955 with no mint mark. You see that doubling, and your pulse quickens. You feel the weight of history in your palm. You're holding the same coin design Lincoln himself inspired. The same era that witnessed America's rise from post-war years into prosperity. And now it's your turn to prosper, because you just found $1 million treasure. Collectors have spent decades searching for these coins. They've appeared at estate sales, inside dusty coffee cans, even found by children going through their grandparents' collections. Every story starts the same way. I never thought it could be worth that much. And that's the beauty of it. This coin isn't just about metal or minting errors. It's about discovery. It's about hope. It's about that thrilling possibility that something ordinary could be extraordinary. That even after 70 years, the world still hides little miracles waiting to be found. Now imagine auction night. A dimly lit room. The murmurs of collectors. A single penny, perfectly preserved, rests under glass. The bidding starts at 50,000, then 100, 200. Voices rise. Hands go up. The auctioneer's hammer slams. Sold. $1,100,000. Applause fills the room. Cameras flash. And somewhere, maybe in another part of the country, someone else hears the news and whispers to themselves, I think I have one of those. You see, stories like this remind us that history doesn't just belong in museums. It hides in our pockets. It jingles in our drawers. It waits for curious eyes willing to look closer. Take a moment tonight. Pull out your old coins. Line them up under the light. Search for that 1955 no-mint Mark Wheat penny. Let the light hit the date. Let your heart race a little. Because this is how discoveries begin. Not with luck, but with curiosity. The 1955 double-die penny is more than a collectible. It's a symbol of hidden worth. A reminder that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. And maybe, just maybe, the next person to uncover one won't be a famous collector or an expert. It could be you.